G'day guys, Alex here. I wanted to talk to you today about the view data page. Now the view data page is where we're going to see all of the deals that have appeared or anything that's made it through our filters, and the software is presenting to us to analyze to see whether or not it is a useful product to perhaps buy. So let's get some information in there. I've put target.com and a default kind of category there with just a single page scan. I will put no filters there so we can just pop it in and see some data. Let's go submit. Now on the view data page, the process begins loading, and it's exciting to see products start appearing from there as they start being populated from our product search. Now at the top here it says view data will only display up to so many lines. You can actually adjust this setting in settings. If you keep it nice and low, then the computer handles it really well. If you keep it high, you'll be able to put more things into the view data page if your filters are really loose, and you can take that up to 1,000 lines if you like. Now the page should self-refresh. If you've returned from another tab and you find that it's being a bit temperamental, you can hit the F5 button and that'll pop those new products onto the view data page to refresh things. And any items you would like to save to your own replen list, you can use the heart icon, which is this little one here. So I might just hit that there and you can see it turning red to indicate that it's now been saved into a saved data list. And let's have a look here. See, these little blue question marks, they're really very helpful. This one will tell you what each of the columns means. I notice I've got to update this because I haven't got the very first column in there, which is domain, but I'll go through them one by one anyway. So this column here allows you to select multiple products, and you may select a couple of those items here and then decide to delete those, so you can go delete selected. Now you can also select multiple ticks at once by choosing select all or deselect all. If you select all, you can then delete the selected, or if you select several, you can delete those selected, or you can save the selected ones into your saved list. I'm going to deselect all those for now. The next row is the domain, which is the domain where the search came from. So if I was to do another search right now for say Walmart and stick it straight into the same one. Then in a moment, some Walmart entries will appear here as well. Oh, we're getting some added now. And as you can see, the domain has a walmart.com there. So this makes it nice and sortable. And also, let's say for instance you wanted to save some of these products into a Target list, some into a Walmart list, you'll be able to easily spot which ones need to go where. We just added the domain column a couple of days ago. Now the next thing you'll see here is the title. This is the title at the source site. So in this case we've got Bandai Big Hero Fred feature figure. And if we have a look at the title on the Amazon page, they've called it the Big Hero 6-inch Fred, Big Hero 6 6-inch Fred action figure. So those titles aren't exactly the same. But what we're looking at here with this particular site is UPC matching. Now UPC means Universal Product Code. And I'll just pop ahead. These columns over here, this one here is the source site column. And if a website has UPC data, we collect that data, and if it doesn't, this column is empty, and then we default to a title search. Now UPC matching is always more accurate than title searching. So in this case, the software has identified that there is a UPC at target.com, and it has done a comparison with Amazon and seen a matching UPC over at amazon.com. Now because the numbers match identically, this is actually green. So in cases where there is a UPC and we're not getting a UPC match on Amazon, it'll default to the title search, and then it'll still extract the UPC from Amazon. It'll print it beside it here, but it'll be red, and the two numbers will be different. So let's have a look at this next column here, which is the price. Now this is the price at the source, and you can also see the image here at the source, and so it's nice and clear exactly what the title was, what the image was, and what the price was over at target.com for this product. Now, looking at Amazon here, we might want to see if this is a seller or not. So I've got the keeper and the camel icons in there, and with keeper we've made it so you can just mouse on over, and you can see those little glorious green spikes there, which are telling us that sales are happening. So every time you see one of those spikes, you can be pretty confident that a sale has just occurred. So that's a seller. The category is toys and games, and the ASIN on Amazon is as here, the BWM1YC92A. I'll come back to these little blue arrows here in a moment, but that's an interesting and cool new feature that many people will enjoy, because you can use these arrows here to get cash back on your membership at the end of each month. And so I will come back to that in a moment. Skipping right along, we've got the Amazon buy box price here, and right here we've got the FBA calculated price. Now this is the price that Amazon will pay back to you if they sell it for $10.99. So you've set it into FBA, you've listed it at $10.99, Amazon's going to give you back $6.26. Okay, so what's the profit? Okay, we've got the $6.50 over here at Target, and we've got $6.26 here. It's negative 24 cents. It's not going to make us any money. It's minus 4% gross return on investment. Now, eligible for Prime means that this item is shipped by an FBA seller or an Amazon.com itself. So it's actually eligible for Prime shipping. New sellers is the number of sellers, the number of people selling this particular product, so that you know how many you're competing against. Here's the weight of the item in pounds. You've got your product size, which basically looks at the dimensions, and we calculate what category it should fall into, whether it's an oversized product or a standard sized product. You've got your sales rank over here, which I think is a really good indicator. But my favorite indicator has always been this little keeper graph, just to see sales in that respect, and also to see a history of pricing. Now over here you've got an X. You can basically remove one that we don't like straight from the view data page. So I'm going to pop that one out of there. We're okay to get rid of that one. He's gone, and we've got our little save icon here as well. So I'm going to save this one. All right, so let's have a look at a couple more things. So when let's have a look at these colors here, because I think this is important. In Amazon buy box price, we have colors. Okay, so if it's black, it's basically, this is the price sold by an FBA seller or Amazon seller. Now, there's no shipping price involved in this particular case, because it's built into sort of the Prime shipping of Amazon. So you'll also see here that when the item is black, it ties in with the plus symbol here for eligible for Prime. Okay, so in this case here, it's green. So this particular item, if I go over to Amazon and have a look, we're looking at this $17.99 seller. Okay, this has changed. See, this cache is on at the moment. Cache is something very interesting, which means that the data may be a day or two old. So in this particular case, the cached data is older, and I've set my cache quite long, so that's made a bit of a difference in these figures here. Let me explain the green and the black and the red to you though. In settings, there's a setting to use your MWS keys, which are different from your product advertising keys, and the MWS keys will allow you that when there is an MF seller or like a drop shipper to Amazon, they often have a price plus shipping costs, say $12 plus $5 shipping. So if you have that set correctly, then it will show you in green 12 plus 5 is $17. If you have that price set, if you have that setting set incorrectly or empty, this will be red and it will just show the $12 in red. So that's going to affect the gross profit and the gross ROI. Now your FBA calculated price, this is interesting. What this actually does is it pulls, because we've got cache turned on, and I'll get to cache when I talk about the settings a bit later, but because we've got cache turned on, it's going to pull in whatever's in cache. So if the person in cache is using FBA calculations from Amazon, it'll be showing that here. And if they're using what's called a local FBA calculation, which is a quicker way of getting the calculations, it'll show it here in blue. So for now, it's not a big deal, except for you to know that in settings, you can turn on local FBA calculation and get faster results, particularly on live scans. And if you wanted to ever compare that against the Amazon calculation, you can click this little refresh button and you'll see that the calculation is so good that in almost all cases the price is going to be almost identical. So for the most part, whatever figure you see in FBA calculated price is going to be accurate. Why is this one red? So this one is red because even Amazon can't give you an accurate FBA calculation. That's because when this product UPC was entered into the system, it was entered as £0 and no dimensions. Obviously these boxes of nappies have got weight and have got size. Once that weight and size is taken into account, that will affect your FBA calculated price, because Amazon will be able to do the calculation properly. But anytime that I see these zero weight products, I tend to kind of avoid them unless there's some really good margins in there. It might be a useful filter for me to put in there to remove all zero weight products. And that's something that I might take away from this particular video to include. Another thing that we're doing at the moment, while we're on the subject of one product matching with 5 products, this isn't a great example because these UPCs don't match and they're not the same item, but let me just explain what I'm thinking here. Is we're going to have a little button here in the near future where you can say, oh well, this is one product, it's matching up with 5 products at Amazon. So I'm going to just put a multiply here of 5. That'll change this price here. That'll change the gross profits, the gross return on investments, and the weight. And it'll make that calculation accordingly. And then you'll be able to save that product in the global matching database. So what is the global matching database? Well, I can't really leave this page without covering that as well. The global matching database is essentially a crowdsourced game to make the overall searching of products on tactical arbitrage more accurate with every single month. Since we began the game, there's been about 4,000 human matched products where somebody's come along and said, wow, I don't really see that these items are matching properly, and I would like to see whether there's any profit in it. and they've done the match and they've saved the match into the system, and that's kind of how that works. The more matches you make, the more tiers you'll hit, and the more tiers you hit, the more you'll get paid cash back at the end of the month for putting in that effort. There's also prizes like a free month for the most amount of matches, etc. So let me see if I can match one up. I've done a category here where the matches are really good anyway with UPCs, but I'm going to see if I can find a mismatch somewhere. Okay, here's an interesting one. For some reason, this Marvel Superhero product has got a UPC match here, but it doesn't appear to be the same product to me. So I'm going to go to Amazon and just check that out. I can see pretty clearly that is not the same product. I'm going to start by searching for the title on Amazon instead of the UPC. And I can see that that is the item in question. The Marvel Superhero matches Iron Fist. The Marvel Superhero matches Iron Fist there. Yep. And we want to make sure that these items are the correct match instead of this match that they've got here. So what I'm going to do, it looks like there's a couple of options here to choose from. Sometimes you'll find a product is in the system a couple of times, but the one with the highest rank and with 6 FBA sellers is this one here. You may prefer to be on the listing with no other FBA sellers. So it's still quite a regularly sold item. I can't see anything noticeably different unless the packaging is different. It's worth checking all these little things. There is a slight difference. If you have a look at the image over on the left-hand side here, we're looking at a Spider-Man mask on a Captain America suit with a Hulk fist, and an Iron Man mask on a Spider-Man suit with a Hulk fist. So I'm going to now go over to Target and see if they show me what the box is. And I can see that the product that they're advertising as shipping to me is the one with the Spider-Man mask, the Captain America suit, and the Hulk fist. So not this one, this one. So I'm going to pop on down here and grab the ASIN, and I'm going to pop back to this page. Where have I hidden it? There we go. And I can hit Edit ASIN. And I'll paste that in there, and I'll press Save. See, what's happened now is this particular product has been saved into the global matching database. So any single user who comes across this scan now is going to see this row here in purple, and it's been human matched, and therefore it's a nice accurate match most of the time. We do go through periodically and check and try and chuck out any matches that don't quite make the grade, but you can also do the same thing. If you go over here and see this little switch here that's appeared under the heart and the X, you can check for yourself whether or not the match looks right to you now. So I'm going to switch that off. And I can see that this was what Amazon was originally wanting to show me, and where it originally wanted to sell that target product. And this now is where it does want to sell it. So the UPCs don't match. This does happen from time to time. UPCs aren't always going to match when products match, but more often than not that they do. I'm going to show you something else with these arrows. So I'm trying to find another product that doesn't match here. There's a lot of really good matches here. I think that's a match. That is a match. These are all matches. When UPC is involved, you get a lot of matches, which is great, but it makes it hard for me to demonstrate what I'm trying to show. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back to the one that I already was working on, and I want to show you, if you wanted to just quickly cycle through products just to see whether or not you can get lucky and find a match quickly, you can do a little search. And what it'll do, it basically goes to the Amazon page in question. I paused that because I thought there was something happening with it, but it actually kicked in a second later. So what you can do is you can cycle through the products on an Amazon page. And if I was to go and have a look at this search title page, I would actually see these products here lining up underneath it. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm scrolling through the products on that Amazon page one by one to try and find the right product. So I personally like to use the other button and manually put it in, and I just want to make sure I grab that correct one again, which was actually this second one here, which is a nicer product anyway because it has the higher price and less FBA sellers. And I'm just going to put that back the way it was and hit save. Now, this game actually changes all the time. For June, the game is over 65 matches, gets you a $5 rebate, over 110 gets you $10 back, and 150 gets you $15 back. We've got another tier at the moment happening for, I think, 250 matches that also includes some discounts on some of Nate McAllister's products, which is very cool. But in July, all of these rules will go out the door, and a new set of rules will come in for a new game. Okay, back to the view data page. Before we wrap up here, I just want to show you as well, sometimes if you're using a smaller screen like an iPad, for instance, you might find that all of these titles, all these columns are falling off the edge of the page, and you're having to like scroll around and try and get to everything that you want. So you might think to yourself, well, I could do without the domain category for now because I know where I'm searching. Eligible for Prime. Well, I don't need that because I'm just using the color coding in the Amazon buy box, and it kind of says the same thing. I'll get rid of that. Amazon category, I might remove that for today. The UPC, if I get rid of the UPC and I just check whether it's green or red in the colors again, I'll save it like that. And now on a smaller device, these columns will appear. All of the columns will appear because you've removed some. So I hope that explains view data for you in general. I think we've covered everything there: the title, the product, the keep a mouse over. You've got your image matching there. Those images will blow up to a bigger size for you to look at when you mouse over those. The color coding here, and you've got your save items there. We'll go into the save data page in a moment. Set columns visibility. Delete selected, and these exchange rates here you don't need to worry about today, but I'll do a new video on the cross-country feature that's coming in the next couple of days. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and I'll move on to the next video after this, which will be the settings page. Thanks.